babbling and
Born ready, sir.
with that, I'll introduce Dr. Tim.
Thank you very much.
Oh.
And I appreciate you introducing my speech, which is called
Garlic.
Garlic. So I'd like you to picture yourself as standing in a field. And this field goes on and on and on, as far as the eye can see. Interestingly enough, you're in China. Now you look down at the ground, and what you see is about 6 inches of green shoots that are shot through the ground. And those shoots are only now starting to turn brown. And you reach down and you grab a couple of those shoots and you tug on them and you pull it out of the ground. And what you notice is on the bottom of the shoot there's a bulb. And that bulb is garlic. And we all know what garlic is, right? You've seen it, you've heard of it. Whether or not you cook or not, you at least know that garlic is something that we use when we cook. Well, you may not know this, but garlic has another name. It's called, interestingly enough, the stinking rose. If you've ever smelled garlic, I think you fully understand exactly why it has that name. Now, the edible part of garlic is called cloves. It comes as a bulb, but if you take a close look at the bulb, it actually breaks into individual cloves. Now, there's also a thin, almost parchment paper wrapping around it. Don't worry about that. Take it off. Throw it away. There's actually 3 major varieties of garlic that are available to us in most of our stores. Right? There's the American flavor of garlic, which by no coincidence is pretty powerful stuff. There's also a Mexican and an Italian version of garlic, which isn't quite so potent. There's another type of garlic. It's called elephant garlic. But it turns out it's an imposter. Elephant garlic is really a member of the leek family. So it's not actually a garlic, but it's sold as garlic and it's used as garlic by some people. Now garlic, surprise, has been around for a long time. And not just a long time, but a long, long time. Mankind has known about garlic and has known what to do with garlic, which is basically eat it, for a very long time. We have written documentation that shows that garlic existed as far back as when the Great Pyramids of Giza were being built. It's been eaten and used by Greek and Roman soldiers, sailors, and some of the members of the lower castes. It was consumed by people throughout history for a couple of different reasons, both for its nutritional value, but also for medicinal values. Now, there's been a lot of claims made about garlic as far as what it can do for the human body. Some of them valid, some of them probably a little bit more iffy. But garlic is claimed to prevent things such as heart disease, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and even some forms of cancer. Now before you go out and start eating a lot of garlic, we need to have a slightly bigger discussion about that. In 1924, some scientific studies were done, and what they discovered is that garlic could be used to prevent scurvy. You know what scurvy is? Scurvy is a deficiency of vitamin C. So the next time you sign up for that around the world cruise that doesn't have any fresh fruit on board, don't worry about it. As long as you got garlic, you'll be fine, right? Garlic supplements have been shown to boost testosterone in people who are having high protein diets. So should anybody decide that the Atkins diet is the way to go, rock and roll, that's fantastic, good luck with that. Make sure you're taking your garlic though, however, because it'll boost the testosterone, if you want to boost your testosterone. Garlic has been shown to lower blood pressure, and the way it does this is actually very interesting. It has a component called, what would that actually be called? I have no idea, but that doesn't matter. What it actually does is garlic enters into your system and it restricts the blood vessel's ability to expand. And depending on the size of the blood vessel, it also impacts your blood pressure. The smaller, it reduces its ability to constrict. The smaller the blood vessel, obviously the higher your blood pressure. Garlic prevents it from getting smaller, therefore it regulates your blood pressure. Not bad. You eat a ball of garlic, you're able to manage your blood pressure, and I got news for you. If you've you've ever bought any heart medicines, this is a much cheaper solution than what you can get over the counter. Garlic has a whole bunch of different uses. One of the more interesting ones that I ran across is the fact that if you can get the sticky juices to come out of the clove, you can actually use that as an adhesive if you're mending glass or porcelain. So the next time a coffee mug goes to the floor in your house, stop, don't worry. As long as you've got garlic on hand, apparently you can very slowly and painfully paste it back together. Now I handed out to you a single clove of garlic. Okay? Hopefully you've seen this. If you haven't, this is what a clove of garlic actually looks like. Now what you'll notice is that your clove of garlic probably has a white piece of paper on it. If you're using garlic in cooking, you actually remove the paper. You will not actually be consuming the paper. That comes right off. Now, it can be a little difficult to actually get the white paper off. So if you have one of those fancy smartphones, everybody have one of the smartphones? What you do is you take it, you put the garlic clove right there, take your smartphone, smack it. You hit it once, quite firmly. What happens... Oh, come on, your phone isn't worth that much. Okay. What happens is it causes the paper to actually just swell for a brief moment, and then it becomes very easy to actually pull the paper off. After you pull the paper off, what you're going to discover is that you have a clove of garlic. And actually, the clove of garlic will probably actually be giving off a little bit of garlic juice. You can smell your hands, and you'll be going, that's garlic. Now, when you have a clove of garlic, more often than not, a recipe will call for you to cut it up to put it into your recipe. What's interesting about this is there's actually a couple different ways to cut up a clove of garlic. One way is to mince it, and if you mince something, you basically chop it up into very, very small pieces. If you do that with a clove of garlic, what you're going to find is in the meal that you produce, you're going to have a hit of garlic. Right off the bat. It's going to be an intense garlic flavor, and it's going to be right up front, but then there's not going to be anything behind it, right? So you have a quick hit of garlic, and then it's sort of gone. If you cut up your clove of garlic into chunks or into larger pieces, what you're going to discover is that you're going to have a smoother or more mellow garlic taste that's actually going to last longer into your meal. As we move through our lives, things can get to be pretty busy and pretty complicated. And sometimes it's worthwhile for us to slow down and appreciate some of the simpler things in life. I think you'll have to agree with me. You can't get a lot simpler than a clove of garlic. However, given its rich history and the amazing transformation that garlic can undergo when we throw a couple cloves of it into the next thing that we're actually cooking, then perhaps garlic has the ability to remind us that each one of our lives might just have a need for a little bit more of the stinking rose. Mr. Taylor.
What is it even? Tell me.
Pardon me while I clean up the podium.